Hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet. Lakers driven by your Southern California Honda dealers. I'm Chris McGee, joined by Derek Fisher and Mike Bresnahan. Big game James was at the game tonight. Allie was off. We will have Mike Trudell in a little bit talking to Frank Vogel and the players. Lakers lose to OKC again. This time it's a 19-point lead midway through the second quarter that's squandered. Inexplicable, really. But the Young Thunder, who only have 2 wins, have now won in OKC and at Staples against the Lakers.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all kind of still processing how it happened in a sense. I don't think it was a lack of effort or, you know, that they didn't take this team seriously. I just think for a group that's still trying to figure out what their identity is going to be. Are they going to be a fast-paced, high-scoring team and then be able to lock teams up in spurts? Or are they going to really be that #1, top 2, top 3 defensive team in the league that they've been under Frank Vogel, make it really hard for teams to score, and then, you know, when they're scoring well, be able to get separation. But it just never seemed like, even with the lead, they were in control of the game. Thunder missed a lot of open shots in the first half, and once they started to see the ball go in a little bit towards the end of that second quarter, Ty Jerome's in the house, and the momentum just really started to shift from there.
Yeah, there was a 23-8 run at the end of that second quarter that allows this team to believe that they can win this game, right? And listen, the Lakers have an 8-point lead going into that fourth quarter, but something that Fish said, they just haven't played well enough to separate and stay that way.
Yeah, definitely another head scratcher for the Lakers. Geet, Fish, I really could not come up with any combination where this team would have been 5-4 through 9. I know LeBron's missed 3 games now, but the Lakers should have enough. Unfortunately for them, they did not. AD, Russ, Carmelo, they scored. You know, no one else really jumped up to help on offense tonight. I think if the Lakers score 115, like they had been, they win this game pretty easily. But the Thunder, wow. I mean, you had that 34-foot logo 3 by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Dort, some big plays down the stretch, made a couple free throws, a big dunk. This OKC team doesn't realize it's supposed to be losing to the Lakers. And instead, they're 2-0 against them. Kind of just got to shake your head at it, guys.
Yeah, I get that there's injuries. I get that you're losing your best player in LeBron James, but enough talent where you should win games like this. 35-24 in that fourth quarter at home, D-Fish. That's where you have to step up defensively. And listen, I get it's the NBA. Guys are going to, the shot by SGA, it's a crazy shot from the logo. But you're in that position, right?
Yeah.
You're in that position.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. I think defensively, offensively, the team is still searching for how are we going to play. And with LeBron out, you know, now we're searching again. Early in the game, Russell really pushing the pace, scoring early, AD starting 7 for 7 from the field. And it seemed like those 2 guys were going to really carry the day. But as the game went on, the Lakers found it more difficult to score. And right now, at this point in the season, they cannot rely on their defense the way they have been in recent years.
Especially with the personnel they have this year. This isn't the same personnel from the last 2.
No, it's not.
A lot of new faces.
It's not.
And then remember some of the guys you do have out.
Correct.
So that hurts the depth in that regard.
That lack of trust on the defensive end early in the season with 11 new guys, that's the part that's going to come along the slowest. Frank Vogel's been saying it. You know, other teams know it. They can take advantage of the Lakers defensively during stretches of games, and they're going to have to figure it out.
Yeah, you can't even say, to paraphrase James, they should take Greyhound buses home because they're already home, you know, which makes this loss even more difficult to digest, I'm sure, for the team and its fans as well. If you look at the 2 losses here, yeah, just the offense kind of fell back today for sure, and there it is, a big lead again. You know, it's just surprising to see these big leads. It's not a huge, massive run. I mean, it took OKC a quarter and a half to kind of whittle away at it. All looked good when Westbrook hit a mid-range about halfway through that second quarter. Lakers up 44-25 and just kind of chipping away. Lakers really had no answer for these young OKC Thunder guys that, again, should be probably like 13th, 14th, or 15th in the West when the season ends in 4 or 5 months.
When we looked at the Laker calendar to start the season, you saw those first 10 games. I don't think any of us had them at 5-4, but the reality is that's where we are at. They are 1-2 without LeBron. The win coming against San Antonio in a battle. the 2 losses coming against OKC. Let's talk Anthony Davis. Great first half, especially that first quarter starting 7 for 7. Hits that thumb at the end of the half. Comes out taped up in the third quarter, plays the rest of the time. Obviously not as assertive, finishes with 29-17, 5 assists and 2 blocks, Fish, but definitely wasn't the same offensive threat at the rim.
Yeah, it didn't seem to be as aggressive and comfortable attacking the basket, playing as close to the basket when he entered the game in the third quarter. I thought in the fourth quarter when the game was on the line,
there he was.
Yes. Yeah, his physicality stepped up. I think he really tried to have a presence, but in the third quarter, he really just didn't seem to, want to attack, maybe have that thumb get hit again. And then we saw late in the game when the Lakers took the lead late, he accidentally hit it off the backboard, and he kind of shook his head because he knew the ball came off his hand the wrong way.
Yeah.
He's not really a backboard shooter from 45 degrees. I don't think it caused him to necessarily not be as efficient, but he probably was thinking twice about, how he wanted to be assertive and aggressive out there, knowing that maybe that right thumb was bothering him.
And this was supposed to be the easy part of the schedule, these first 9 games, against a bunch of projected non-playoff teams. Now the tough games start. They got to go to Portland in a couple days. Fish, as you can attest, never an easy place historically for the Lakers to play. They've gotten over it a little bit in the last few years, but still not an easy W at all. Then you start playing teams like Miami, who are at or near the top of the East. You got Minnesota and Charlotte as well, teams that are playing above expectations. It's going to be a challenging week and a half, especially without LeBron James and maybe AD. We'll have to see if that thumb swells up overnight. Remember, they got to take a flight tomorrow to Portland.
Yeah, we don't have an official timetable yet on LeBron James, and good point.
Reportedly, could be a week.
Yeah, reportedly. Good point about Anthony Davis, too, going on that flight. We'll see how that feels in the morning because they're playing at Portland. Tough place to play for game number 10. And like you said, come home, more tough games. So that's the NBA for you. All right, let's get you to the highlights. Fortunately, with more injury news from the Lakers. LeBron James is out tonight with an ab strain, which occurred in Tuesday's win against the Rockets. LBJ had 30 points in the victory, including 14 of them in the fourth. The Lakers are 1-1 without him in the lineup this season. Unfortunately, this injury occurred when the Lakers' big three was really starting to get rolling, especially on the offensive end. They lead the league in points scored by trios. They're among pretty elite company if you want to see who else is on that list. Of course, they're going to see the Bulls, the Heat, and the Timberwolves coming up here in the next week and a half. All right, with LeBron's injury a big focus, let's get you right to Staples Center with Lakers reporter Mike Trudell, who's standing by with more. But first, before we get to the LeBron news, I want to say happy birthday to our young legend, Michael Trudell.
Oh, wow.
40th. Annie and the boys are at home celebrating without you.
So kind. And guys, look, I am very happy to be spending this birthday with you, although I wish you were down here at Staples Center. And Geeter, I also wish that we didn't have to focus on injury news. Man, what's up with that?
I know.
What's up about basketball?
When you woke up this morning, you thought it's my 40th. I'm going to get to watch LeBron play. But you know what?
That's right.
That didn't happen, did it, Mike?
No, it didn't. But this is where you start to think about the big picture, right?
Yes,
and I immediately have my brain go there. Okay, long run. Of course, they have to have LeBron at 100% health. But you do worry anytime that he's out for something like this with a strain of a muscle. Although Frank Vogel did sound hopeful when he discussed LeBron's injury in that it wasn't something that's going to be too significant. Let me have him do it in his words, though. So here's Frank Vogel a couple moments ago when asked about LeBron James.
Well, anytime LeBron's out, or is going to miss some time, there's obviously concern, but hopefully this is something that's minimal, and hopefully he'll be back soon.
Do you know if it was something that he aggravated over the course of the game and then was able to finish it out, or how that evolved?
Yeah, he doesn't know exactly what happened. He just said when he came out of the game at that 5-minute mark or something in the fourth quarter, when he came over to the bench, he just said he felt something pulling. Was able to finish the game, but then, obviously, discovered that there was something there after the game.
Frank, of course, you can't replace him with anybody, but what is the plan, both in the starting lineup and then just the most important things for guys to collectively do when he's not playing?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can't replace what LeBron does, but everybody else has to do what they do better, and pick up the slack that way. Communication piece is always the first thing that comes to mind. And in terms of the rotation, we're gonna start big again. We'll start DJ and AD, keep Avery and Bays in the starting lineup with Russell.
Frank, when obviously it's never ideal to not have LeBron, but do you see is there some kind of silver lining with when he's out that you have Russ, who maybe is able to play more naturally as the primary ball handler, or is it just that anytime LeBron and Russ aren't on the floor, it's a missed opportunity for them to continue to get acclimated to one another?
Both. We want those guys to get as many minutes as we can together. But this is one of the reasons, we all felt good about trading for